see me in the woods in the fight with the bear. Help the bear. Yeah, man. It's Help the Bear 5. Had to put a little energy in it, man. But shout out to Gold Professor, man. He getting on me about, doing this. I got to keep my trend of helping the bear going. And today it's just simple. We're going to get into knowledge of self, you know, knowledge of self. Who are you? What are you? What is your last name? What is your first name? What are you actually oh, what are you actually doing? Like, what are you representing for yourself? Those are the key things, man. For let's go with the comic books. With great power becomes what? Great responsibility. Knowing who you are is key for you to, push the mantle, push the bar, to go farther because you know the direction you're going. A person that knows thyself knows everything that they're doing and implementing. So why not? What's going on, Tampa? So in the case of knowing yourself and knowing who you are, knowing what you're doing, how you're dealing and willing, you don't get caught up in situations and everything else. That's not for you. That's for the other people. You good. And for the most part, man, you know, like I say, with the willing and the dealing, handling stuff and getting it all taken care of, that's the key. A lot of people, man, it comes to the issue of not knowing yourself. I don't have time to, have the disagreement with certain people. I deal with you where you at. So if you haven't grew up in life and what I mean by grew up in life, accepted responsibility that when it comes down to it, there's certain things that, happen in life. There's situations that you go through. What's going on, Big Cornell? There's certain situations that you go through, man, that you just don't know what to do. You know, let's take for instance bills. If no one ever taught you how to pay bills, in this day and time, you can find out by Googling. Back in the day, you had to do some work. So nowadays, it's a little more easier, but the thing is, people are still not using the tools that are around them to make them be successful, in that sense. And when it comes down to it, that's why I always promote knowledge of self. If you don't know who you are, how can you expect to do better, good for yourself? Shout out to Gold Professor. This is gonna be his plug right here. Gold Professor, 5:30 a.m. Pacific time. That's California time. He's on in the morning. 8:30 Eastern time. Georgia. You know, and I'm shouting him out for a reason. He has the 9 laws of self-govern, and in the 9 laws of self-govern, rule number one is discipline. You know, that knowledge comes from you having discipline and knowing who you are. You know, discipline to get up every morning when that alarm goes off, not to oversleep, to go to work. Knowing the things that you have to do to get to the things that you want to do. You don't have to go to work. You really don't. But if you do go to work, it benefits you, going to work because why? Everything that comes with it, money. So we have an issue with a lot of people, just wanting things out of life. But the bad part is nobody wants to work for it. You know, the knowledge is knowing the things to make your life better. I'm not perfect. I don't consider myself to be perfect. But the point of it is I try. I try to help people. You know, sometimes you get looked at as the villain for speaking up what's right. Sometimes you get put in a bad situation because you just don't know how to shut your mouth. But hey, if it comes down to it, I'll be the lone wolf, you know. But the whole thing is, I knew I stood on principle. I knew I stood on principle, you know. And for the last couple of panels and spaces I've been in, I've been promoting, men getting their money together, you know. Same thing for women. I mean, if a woman's single, by all means, chase the bag. But when you get with a man, by all means, work with that man. Same thing with the fellas. Because, like I said, at the end of the day, you can say what you want, how a woman should react. But if she don't respect me, it ends there. That respect shows how she can bite her tongue and not say certain things, even though, she got it in her. Because everybody lives on society standards. You know, we have to commit to the world a certain way that then we commit to things around us. When it come down to it, I gotta commit to, you know, being a father, you know, because that's the right thing to do. But in society, we're labeled lazy. We don't take care of our kids. So society standards to let me get away with this stuff. You know, I don't I should be mad if I get put on child support because that's society standards. I shouldn't be put on child support. That's society standards. Man, we don't need to be put on child support. Just let me pay for my child and this. No. But majority, if you're doing what you're supposed to do, it's self-explanatory. It all happens. It goes down the pipe. But anything questionable, you know. And like I said, the premise of knowledge of self, man, knowing what you're getting yourself into, knowing what you're doing. I heard some panels the other day about some different purpose where if men are not building and doing certain things, they need to get out the way. First of all, there's certain guys don't even know. Like you got guys that in their 40s and 50s actually don't know how to move in society as men because they had this male like mindset, which they've been trained to do all their life. You know, I literally heard on a panel earlier a guy who grew up with his father saying that the manosphere guys then pull him to the side and teach him about anything. And, this draining about certain topics with the females, and it puts you in a mindset to where you got to go in on the female. Nah, that's what you want to do. I'm tired of guys not holding themselves accountable for their actions. You want it to be in the get along crowd. So when guys start railing on females on the panel, you start trauma bonding, and that's where it went. For the most part, when it comes down to it, It's self-explanatory. If you want to do that, you do that. If you don't, you don't. Every space I've always told guys I've been married 15 years. Every space I've told guys that, I contribute to certain things in my relationship with my wife, contribute to being a certain man or a certain way in my life. The help the bear mentality. Nobody's coming to save you. You can get a mentor that can teach you all this stuff. He's not saving you. Father, he's not saving you. You got to go out here and get the education and learn for yourself. Knowledge of self. You learn this stuff and apply the knowledge. We can have these arguments all day. Like Cain the God. I was on his channel earlier. He's talking about the section right now in the ministry booming about beef. Beef is what's popping. Beef is hot. Right now I could say, man, forget Gold Professor. I ain't listening, looking at Gold Professor ever again. He get on my nerves. And why? Because he make me hold myself accountable. He get me in my feelings. But at the end of the day, all I'm doing is vetting and all this and getting all emotional and warm inside. That's not solving nothing. I'm still a broken man. I still haven't built myself up. I'm not getting myself around the right people. I say this all the time. These guys, oh, that's that single mother stuff. But what happens when a single mother raised that child and all that child knows his mom rules? He goes and get married and he teaches his son what his mom taught him. You got if you're gonna label ain't shit moms, then you gotta label these ain't shit dudes too. Every man not coming out here teaching their kids the golden rule standard. You got guys that have these kids in the house. They there, but they not there. They work two jobs, one job. When you come home, all you want to do, drink your beer, watch your football, and that's it. I ain't got time to teach these kids nothing. I ain't got time to, my dad showed me how to box. My dad showed me what a Phillip head and flathead is. I ain't got time for that. Man, I gotta go back to work and in 14 hours. Man, I'm trying to enjoy the rest of my time off. Man, this game on. You got fathers in the house are considered, like excommunicado. There but not even in existence. You got a dad that stays in the house but have no contact with you. It happens. You know, there are some people that have the fathers in the house but have no communication because the mom said, "Don't talk to my baby like that. Leave my baby alone." And that man just put it in his head. My son ain't gonna be nothing for the rest of his life because of his mom. I'm gonna accept staying with her, but I'm gonna have to accept I'm gonna have a bull crap son. You know, some men deal with it, some men don't. You know, and the crazy part about it is like society standards, man. I keep going back to this. Society put a standard on us that we have to get IG models in order to be having a good woman. That's society standard. Get you an IG model. No matter what her attitude is, she banging. This is what you want. Neglect everything else about having a good woman. You need to just focus on her look. She need to have a booty, some titties, and a face. Never mind she can't cook. Never mind she can't clean. Never mind even for the most part, as long as she can have sex, that's number one priority. Society standard. you know. And sometimes I listen to a lot of these panels and they, oh, this and that about, Kev goes into it about love. Love ain't got nothing to do with marriage. And for the most part, it is a business deal. But if you have that mindset going into it, that's what you're looking for. Then so be it. Everybody has a standard, man. But society standard will get you all the time because you're moving in a direction in which people want you to go versus where you need to go. That's why most people are not married. They had the love of their life in their face, but they chose a different route to pick a girl of a certain standard. All these guys that are educated, smart, they're going after the women that the ballers and who they call the pookies want. All those men want that same. I go the other way. I don't want that standard type woman. And the guys get mad when they don't get chose by these women. That's not your lane. She didn't choose wrong. She chose what she chose. I'm getting away from this, but you know, knowledge yourself, man. Know who you are, know what you want. Stop spending all your time trying to figure out what everybody else wants you to do and focus on you. If you want to become a lawyer, set that to be the standard and the goal for you. You know, don't be a doctor because society says it pays better unless you really want to do it. Focus on you. That's what a lot of people are not doing. They're not focusing on them, focusing on their craft what they want. I drive trucks. I tell people that all the time. It's a decent job that makes money. Of course, I could be doing other things. I always joke with my wife and I tell my wife, there's certain things I do and certain things I say that, kind of catch her off guard and, things I know and she don't think I know. And she was like, well, you should do this. Like one time I said something to Ford about medicine and, things. And she's like, whoa, I didn't know that. And looked it up. It was true. She was like, oh man, you should have became a doctor. My number one thing I told her, I'm too smart for that. When I won my court case, uh, my who was that lady? She was um she was the mediator between our case. And it was funny because she referred that she got paid, I think it was 250 an hour or 350 an hour. And she said, as long as you guys hold this, I'm happy, but I want to get this resolved because I was suing my job. And my lawyer tried to settle for $5,000. And I told my lawyer, hell no. I was like, they owe me money and they've been holding me back for almost a year or two, even though it was like a quarter a check, but that adds up. I told my lawyer, I said, if I don't get at least $10,000, I'll take this to court. And I know they don't want to do that because it's going to go on record of what they did. And this is a government contract. So if this goes on record, you've already been, I heard you got dealt with this one time. So this is a government contract. It's going in the records that this issue has occurred multiple times. And they're going to do an investigation. Once I said that, less than 2 minutes, because the lawyers were in separate rooms. First, we came in a room together, mediated. Then they divided us in separate rooms to kind of see. The crazy part, let's show you how smart and dumb lawyers are. My lawyer starts at 40,000. They say 1,000. My lawyer drops to 30,000. They say 2,000. My lawyer drops to 25. They say 3,000. My lawyer says, okay, I'm gonna give you guys a deal, 10,000, and that's the lowest we gonna go. Lawyer said 4,000. So he's like, well, let's meet in the middle. Their lawyer said, well, we're meeting at 5,000. That's the most we're willing to pay attention to this case. Like they was doing me a favor. I had to basically get on my lawyer, and this was supposed to be one of the best lawyers from Orlando, from the company that I dealt with, far as my lawyer, and that let me know never ever get a TV lawyer ever again. Like this was a prestigious, like prestigious company, so it's not like, but it was one of the associates, so it wasn't direct. It was one of the associates that handled it, but knowledge itself, I knew what I was worth, and I told him I wasn't going to accept nothing less than what I was worth. I already did the numbers. I actually shot him in the foot by 2 3 thousand, and that's why they was trying to settle for 5. I knew that, but that's why I said I was walking out with 10 or nothing. And even the lawyer tried to get their pinch. I'm like, no, you get it. You push that into there. You get your 33% in there, because I understand you had to do all this other stuff. You get it in there. I want 10. I'm walking away with it. If I don't get 10, I'm taking it to court. You're gonna get your money in court then. And so they had to go back and argue. And my job, I put it in there to where I told them that they couldn't let me go until after a year, and they gave me a dollar raise on top of the money I won in the case. I did all that. I really didn't need a lawyer. I just needed somebody with a bar, who passed the bar, that can sit here and just gurgitate everything I said. But because basically I won my own case, and this guy been lawyer for years. I basically schooled him on how to do his job. But like I said, I'm too smart for this. Yeah, man. But I mean, just knowing what you want, man, is key. Stop with the bull, man. Just learn everything. Don't just settle for one position in life. That's why I'm trying to get my boys settled in their mind to where they can start, getting on this stuff with me with tools. They young, but they some small fries, man. I remember when I was their age, dude, I was up there. Like damn near, it was like four. I think it was about 4 5 or something like that. Almost, 5 feet. Like by the time I got to, I think eighth, I was already like 5'4" or 5'8", like in the eighth grade. So they got 3 more years. Maybe that's when they growth spurt kick in. But I want to put them boys to work. You know, I only thing I could do is train them mentally now. You know, and my son like asking silly questions. So I have to always go at with him. Like, why do you ask that question? I say, you ask stuff like that, people gonna look at you funny. I do it too, but I do it with intent. I play dumb sometime, or say the wrong thing just to get a response, because ultimately people will try to play you or deal with you a certain way according to the way you talk or the way they see you. And that just shows me what type of person you are. You know, knowledge, you got to figure things out sometimes. Sometimes, you know, sit back and be the mouse in the room. Be quiet. You learn a lot. You know, shout out to Pookie Truth. Pookie Truth, the loudest in the building, and don't know anything. And for the most part, it puts sometimes shame to us. Like sometimes when I hear guys on the panel like that, I'm losing brain cells because they don't know what they want to talk. But it's a teaching moment to let them know some get it, some don't. But understanding it's a teaching moment for you to learn. You know, sit back and listen. You can just come on the panel, say hey to everybody, and just be quiet. Speak only what you know of. Don't speak of a situation because you're dealing with it through other people. And that goes back to knowledge of self again. Stop living someone else's truth. Live your own truth. Live what you know. Live your experiences. There should be no guys, you know, that I'm hearing now that's 20 under 20, I can say under 25, but even older than that. If you're under 30 and you're MGTOW, ever this space, man, like, come on, man. We ain't even live. And you already committed to that. Now, I understand situation after situation. I get that. You can be 25 and been through four, maybe even 22 in the worst of relationships and you commit to that. I get that. But to, commit to a life of no women and you just started, come on, man. Tell the honest truth. Honest truth is that you just don't have the experience. Some people ain't even got in the game. They've already lost before they got in the game. But yet they want to put it as it's the players around them. No, it's you. Just deal with it. A lot of people not understanding that, man. You put yourself in situations, you got to get yourself out of these situations. And the only way to do that is the knowledge up. Learn something. And with that being said, man, I'm gonna go ahead and jump off of this. I might come back a little later at the gas station, pull it in, give me some gas. Come back later, spit some more flame. Art, Sheila, Sunclaws in the building. 1G pulled up. Self care, health, and wellness pulled up. Everybody shout out Tampa. Big Cornell, everybody coming in the building. But I'm gonna go ahead and drop off with this, man. Like I keep saying, knowledge yourself, man. Knowing what you're dealing with, know who you are. Peace. And once again, like I always say, we here, we gone.